Hey, today's video is about my coming out story. Because a lot of you ask, like, oh, it must have been easy for you, you must have had a happy life and a happy childhood and, very accepting, liberal parents. It must have been so easy for you and you just have a happy gay life. Now, that was not the case, okay? I grew up in a bit of a turbulent household. And there was a lot of difficulties, and I've gone through quite a lot of stuff. And basically, if I can get to this stage where I am, I believe you also can do. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want to help to empower you and teach you that you can also, have accepting parents, accepting friends, and come to a stage where you can be in a relationship and you can be happy and you can do the work and keep your head held high. We need a lot more role models, and I'm here to basically help with that. So, I grew up in a typical conservative, traditional Sikh household, okay? And growing up, there was a lot of problems, a lot of turbulence. And I was very scared to come out. I thought I would be disowned or something bad would happen to me, So from the age of about, I guess, 8, I started going through puberty. And at the age of 11, I knew I was gay, attracted to men. Instead of looking at the women on the street, I looked at men. I find them attractive. I didn't understand what it was. I was confused. So I tried to psychologically make myself like women. I used to dream before night and pretend that, I would get married to a woman, have a honeymoon, and everything would be great. But I couldn't accept it because I realised at the age of 13 that I didn't want to ruin a woman's life and pretend. It was more to protect the woman as opposed to myself. I thought to myself that I would take the backlash and I will, do all that I have to do. Not to be selfish for myself, but to protect a woman. So I knew the consequences of what could have happened to me. So I focused on education. I just did a lot of, got really good grades and, went to really good school, a really good university. And my aim was get an education, get an amazing job and be self-sufficient and have enough money to be able to live my own life if I was chucked out of home. And that's what I did, basically. But the more and more I kept it in, like I hear a lot of people as well, like, it's eating you inside and you try to ignore it for as long as possible and hide it away. But when you get older and start working, it just eats away at you. And now I worked abroad a lot. I worked for UN and government and NGOs in the Middle East, Europe and Asia. So every time I was away, I just felt distance from my parents. And I felt like, I wasn't living my life and I wasn't connected to them. And I couldn't get into a relationship either because I had so much guilt and so much shame, and I just was freaking out. I couldn't become, in an intimate situation with someone. So basically, then I got really into meditation and yoga and doing a lot of self-help work, internal work inside me to basically to get back to being happy how I used to be. And I started removing all that guilt and shame, all the lower depressing energies and vibrations to get myself to being back to being happier. And then the journey started, but I remember when I did come out to my parents, I did it via SMS, which is the craziest thing because my parents don't really speak English. My mom just speaks Punjabi and my dad speaks half-half, right? So I was in Tel Aviv, Israel, and I was very downbeat and depressed. I was working for the UN and I just had to, it was eating me up, and I read loads of blogs which said that basically if you're not out to your parents, it's going to affect you from having a relationship with a man. So I was there sitting there one day on Skyping them, and I actually chatting to them on the phone, and I put the phone down and just said, you know what, I'm going to text them. Text both my mum and dad in English. They'll read it somehow, or my sister was at home, she'll translate it and then they'll get over it. Now I was thinking of running away because I had a job offer with the Tibetan government in the Himalayas, in the mountains in India, to work for them, and I actually wanted to just live in a monastery and just be away from it all because I couldn't get into a freaking relationship. I was 25, I think, maybe. Yeah, I was 25 when I came out, which is 3 years ago. I waited till I was 25. and I couldn't get into a freaking relationship, so I thought, what's the point? It was actually an easy coming out, I'm not gonna lie. After all the stuff I had gone through, I think all them years I kind of just made myself think it would be worse than it was. You know, and my mum did say to me, like, you know, had you told us before, it would have been fine. But you always have that thing that they're going to try to convert you, or they're going to blame you, or they're going to take you to here and there and try to change you, right? So I text them and I went to sleep straight away. I switched my phone off because I didn't want to hear from them. And the next morning I didn't answer their calls, and my sister emailed saying, you know what, they've accepted it, just answer the phone. So she had translated and they had read the message and everything, and they just said, you know, they were so relieved because they were like, our son is distanced from us, and it's not because he hates us, it's because he's been dealing with something else all these years. So they were relieved that that was the situation. And initially they were like, my mum thought I was going to become a woman because they didn't understand anything about it, and my dad was like, you know, I can do the work and he can stay home, because they thought maybe I wasn't able to work or something. And at that time there was nothing in Punjabi or in their languages that was kind of explaining what it is. And then I came back to the UK. Instead of going to the monastery or whatever in the Himalayas, I came back, and they were really alright with it. My dad asked me a few intimate questions like, you know, what do I prefer and this, that and the other. They did take me to the doctor, and it was like a proper Singh turban guy, and I thought, oh my god, he's going to say like, you know, this is wrong and stuff. But he was so super supportive. With the proper Gyani, head of the Gurdwara, and he said, this, God's made him like this and you can't change it, only if God wants to. And it was wonderful. And they did think about doing like a bit of like Desi cure thing, but then they let that go. And they really listened to me, because at that stage I had worked on myself a lot. And I had just come back from my first Vipassana meditation 10-day silent retreat, yeah, in Israel. And I had been working a lot on the law of attraction and positivity, and whatever you think and believe happens in the real world and it manifests. And this is the premise on how I work to help people. You've got to believe the right outcome. So to my UN colleagues, they used to always say, you know, my parents are so loving and accepting, they love me and they know that I'm gay. And basically, by having those thoughts, I started to make myself feel better and calm myself down. And they started to see that, you know, this our son, he's thought this through, he's very well educated, he knows what he's doing, and we should trust him. So I had to firstly work on that on myself inside me. Then I came back to England, and they were fine with it. And I mean, my mom did cry 1 or 2 times, like, but she was angry at God, but she accepted it, you know, because parents have made up all these sort of ideas of that, how their son's going to be, get married to a woman and have kids and stuff like that. And apart from that, then I was home for a couple of months, and then I went and worked with the Tibetans. But things, you know, as a human rights activist, because that's what I am essentially, that's what I do, that's what I'm studied and that's what I'm educated in, and I've worked for lots of LGBT organisations, and if you see me on LinkedIn you can see what work I've done. But I just knew that I had to carry on having the dialogue with them. So I stayed home, you know, I came and confronted, I didn't just run away. I came home for a good 6 months after I came out and spent time with them. All the questions they had some specific, you know, sexual questions as well, to answer those. And then I did a Punjab radio show about it as well, because I believe their generation, I tried to find a support group, but it was only in English for middle class parents, for white parents really. They weren't accepting that. They said, you know, your Indian parents can come, but they wouldn't understand them. They wouldn't understand their language. So I decided to do something in Punjabi. Because of that, I did this Punjab radio show, and then I was in India for a bit, and then I came back, and the Sikh channel wanted me to do a documentary series, which all the links and stuff are on my YouTube channel and on my website, which is myspiritualsoul.com. Anyway, so I came back, did a Sikh channel documentary series. I was an out gay Sikh man on Sikh channel. You know, I had the guts to do that. And all my life I've had the guts. You know, I've worked with loads of you know, black people and Muslims, and no one's ever given me any backlash. People from school as well, like when I'm in my area, they pick me up and they take me out and everything, and people have been so lovely and accepting. So there was some backlash. I mean, I had some family members threaten me and say really nasty things actually. So that, you know, I did have to confront that, to be fair. And then basically did Sikh channel, and since then I've done a Sky News interview as well. But I do believe in working with our community in their language, and therefore I'll be doing loads of videos from now on in coming out series in different languages and with parents in different languages, so that you can use it as a resource. And in my book that I'm writing, which is Bollywood Gay, it's a self-help book, right? There'll be pamphlets that you can just pull out in different languages, and they're written for your parents. So basically, you buy the book when it comes out this year, and then you just pull it out when you're ready to come out and you give it to them. So that's what's happened, and since then I've been helping gay Asians, and I'm going to carry on doing so. What advice can I give to you about your coming out? Tips. Number one, know who you are. Really invest time in figuring out, who the hell are you? Are you gay? Are you bisexual? Are you transgendered? Are you straight? Are you curious? Is it a phase? What is it? Because for everyone's different. There's no clear cut. So figure out who you are and really accept that. How are you going to figure it out? You're going to go out and maybe go to LGBT groups, gay support groups, meet people, try things out, figure out, and really be clear on what you are, okay? When we start hearing all this stuff about, I'm bisexual, but then you turn out to be gay later, if you're going to come out, it's going to really confuse people. It's going to confuse your parents too. And they're going to think that you can get married to a woman if you're saying you're bisexual. So be clear on who you are and invest time in yourself. Number two, there's no clear time, everything in its right time, because it's when you're ready, and you may be ready at 18, you may be ready at 15, you may be ready at 30, you may never be ready, and you have to assess your situation, and that's according to what your parents are like, what your family and society is like. But I've told you, I came from quite a turbulent background as well, and through my own work that I do, which I can help you with as well, you too can have hopefully a really good coming out as well. So, and the final thing I'm going to say is basically, spend time with your parents. Don't just do a runner. Don't just come out, blurt it and run off, because that's the easy thing to do, and it can be quite simple for you to do, but they're going to have questions, and they're going to go through phases. They're going to have denial, grieving, denying who you are, and they're going to grieve the life they thought that they wanted for you, and then it's going to be finally acceptance. So it's going to take time. It's not going to be overnight, and really you have to give them that time and listen to their questions and go through it. You have come out to yourself at the age of, say, 12 or 11 or whatever, and you've had maybe 10, 15 years or whatever to really get used to it. They've only heard the wind of it today, so you need to give them many years. They will catch up. Mine have catched up very quickly in 3 years' time. So that's what I would say to you. Just know who you are, and really spend time with your parents and accept yourself, right, and love yourself. That's what I would say. And basically, we do need a lot of role models in this community, and it is possible, and you can have a loving, wonderful, beautiful coming out and supportive parents. And if you need any help with that, please contact me. Go to www.myspiritualsoul.com, put in your details in there to join up the newsletter. You can also contact me on the contact form at the back. I provide life coaching and spiritual counselling, and you can also like this video, please, and share it with as many people as possible. Put a comment below. You can find me on Twitter, on YouTube. Like my YouTube channel, subscribe to it, so we can make more and more amazing videos. If you are willing to come on camera, if you want to do your coming out story in English, in another language, then please come, because it will be absolutely amazing. If you've got parents who are willing to be interviewed, who want to come on this channel, please do. If you have suggestions, loving, beautiful, wonderful suggestions and comments of what you want this channel to bring out there for everyone, then please also let me know in a message, And the purpose of the work that I do is to help empower LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered individuals to accept themselves, and for fully accepting and loving themselves, the people around them will start to accept them too. So I work primarily with them. My parents will be willing to work with your parents if you want translation and other services as well. And yeah, that's it. So I wish you the best coming out. Please keep the dialogue going. Head over to the website and leave some comments there. That's where all the main stuff happens. And yeah, I wish you all the best. It is possible. Take care. See you later. Bye.